How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite shows that I've watched in a really long time. I think that it's a pretty relevant topic since it is going to be coming out later on this year. Of course, I'm talking about Invincible. Season 2 is coming out sometime this year, and if you haven't seen Invincible, which wouldn't surprise me because a lot of people like me, at the beginning, I didn't really expect too much of this show because it's a superhero that not that many people are aware of, and it's a character that not many people know, and so not many people are actually gonna try to watch it. But I'd like to say that it is probably one of the best animated superhero shows that I've ever seen, and I really do recommend it. And like I do, I always give a spoiler warning with these, and so let's start off by just putting spoiler warning, and I will be going into what happens throughout these episodes. I do not remember what happens in which episode, but I remember everything that happens in these episodes, which is why I would like to talk about them. So I do know that at the end of the first episode, everything in the first episode just seems fine. You know, Mark is getting his powers. Mark is invincible. I'm just going to use their superhero names because it's the easiest thing to use. But Invincible gets his powers, and so he starts to kind of test out with them. And Omni-Man is his dad. Omni-Man is a Viltrumite, and the only thing that we know from them is that they're kind of like Superman, where they have the power to fly, super strength, and they have all these different powers, and they live for a really long amount of time. But nobody really knows why a Viltrumite would be here, and that gets revealed at the end of the show. But let's just go a bit into what we know. At the beginning of the first episode, everything seems fine. Omni-Man is a hero. Everyone loves Omni-Man. But at the end of the first episode, he goes crazy. He goes rogue. He kills the Avengers of Earth. He kills Aquaman, which is a fish dude. He kills a Captain America-esque person. He kills a Batman person. He kills a Flash, and he kills the entire Justice League of that respective world. For some reason, nobody really knows. And at the beginning, everyone's just pointing the finger at Omni-Man because he survived the attack. He was the one that attacked. And so people are starting to question if it was mind control or if he did this on purpose. What could the purpose be? And so that's kind of what the show bases itself off of. I don't want to go into too much in-depth detail because there's so much that happens in this show. So much about Invincible, learning about his powers, learning about different groups like Adam Eve's group. Then you have him actually trying to join the new Justice League or the new Avengers that they had recently just all died in a mysterious accident that nobody knows who killed them and nobody knows why they died. It's just, well, everyone knows that Omni-Man killed them, but they don't really know why Omni-Man would kill them. So people are thinking that it's mind control. And there's a lot of indicators. For example, when an alien is coming to the planet, which Invincible fights, he leaves and he doesn't come back because the Earth is already inhibited by a Viltrumite. Why is this very important? Why is a Viltrumite very important? It's like saying that there's a Kryptonian on Earth. You don't want to colonize a Kryptonian Earth because it's going to be a lot harder for you to colonize, right? Not really. As I'd like to talk about the whole entire show in depth and every single scene and everything that happens, and me wanting Mark to end up with Adam Eve because that's clearly a match made in heaven. But that's just what I want to happen, not really what happens in the show. He goes for Amber, human, which is fine. It's fine. And we all have our preferences, and his preference is humans. And although he's a superhero, I'd probably go for a more superhero type because she understand a bit more of what's going on in your life, and she'd understand a lot more of what you're doing, and she'd be a lot more there for you to help. But at the end of the show, Adam Eve goes on this whole spiritual retreat journey where she finds out who she really wants to be in this world, and Invincible is kind of stuck in the middle of a fight where people are trying to take down Omni-Man, and he sees that the U.S. government is trying to take down Omni-Man, and he sees that people are trying to take down his dad, and so he goes and fights the U.S. Army until Omni-Man tells him the truth. And Omni-Man tells him the truth, saying, yes, I killed the Avengers or the Justice League. I don't really remember what they called them in the show. I just remember that their powers were extremely similar to that of the people that are there. And so he's like, yeah, I killed them. It's because I'm a Viltrumite, and our purpose is to colonize world so that then Viltrum can take them over as their own rule. And that's why this alien left, because he saw that this world was inhabited by a Viltrumite and that it was already taken. And so, obviously Invincible isn't going to stand for this. You have, he grew up being a human, and so he has that love and sympathy for the humans, and he just only found out that he's a Viltrumite. Obviously, he wasn't going to just abandon his people and let them all die. Even though Omni-Man did make a pretty good point in saying that he's going to live for for thousands of years. Everyone he knows, everyone he loves will die. And so having that in mind, it's just, he won't have anything in the next 500 years. There's this scene right after they fight. They have this whole entire really gruesome fight where they go across the entire city and they just and they end up making a mountain almost crumble, and they're just fighting while Invincible is definitely losing. You can't go up against Omni-Man. He will beat you to a pulp in seconds. Okay? And one of his own kind, especially his son. He beat his own son to a pulp. You have J.K. Simmons, Omni-Man, beating his own son to a pulp. That is just insane. And we already have word that he will return in season 2. But what happens in the show, and it's a really heartfelt moment. You don't really get this too much in superhero shows, because usually when the dad is the villain, there's this whole sacrifice that they do. But it's because they realized that what they were doing was bad. In this case, it's very different, because I don't feel like Omni-Man fully realized what he was doing, but I do feel like he realized that that's his son and that he now has a moral obligation to protect his son, even from Viltrum. And so we go into this part of the show where Omni-Man completely just demolishes Invincible, and he asks Invincible the question, what will you have after 500 years? Once your mother is gone, once your the love of your life is gone, you might have kids, you might not. What will you have once all of that is gone? And the answer that a bloody, almost dead Invincible gives is, you, Dad. I will still have you because you will live until that long, and I will still have a father. And that makes Omni-Man emotional, and it makes him it shows a scene of when Mark started playing baseball, and so it just goes into his brain, and it really just sits there, and it really makes him think. And so he ends up leaving Earth in an Icarus kind of way. I already explained that in the Eternals video that I made a few weeks ago, and a few days ago. It used to be weeks when I'd upload these. No, a few days ago, I made a video on Eternals where Icarus flies into the sun. And he kind of does that, but he doesn't fly into the sun. I think that he flies back to Viltrum and kind of tells him, hey, Earth is off limits. And it's just a really emotional scene, because you see how... you just see how the villain of the show, and how the person that... you see the villain of the show, and you see the man who swore to protect his son at all costs, just just beating each other in that scene. And it's just a really powerful scene, and I think that really captures the essence of the show. For those of you who haven't watched that scene, I completely recommend it. It's a very good show. It is animated, and that does throw me off a bit, but not enough. It throws me off just a very bit, but honestly, the show is just so good, and it's so captivating. It had me watching for a really long time. Everything from the first episode correlates with the last, and you have a lot of things that you see, and I think that is just great. And I cannot wait for season 2. Yes, season 2 has been announced that it will be coming out later this year. I'm very excited. And with all that being said, I think that I will give the first season of Invincible a 9.4 out of 10. Again, it is one of my favorite shows of all time. It is so close to perfect. It is like just under Breaking Bad, just because of how amazing the show is, how fun it is, how great the characters are, how amazing everything is. The writing is great. I just really like the show, and I really recommend it to all of you. I don't really think that there's much to say, but I do think that I should say this. If you aren't already, you should definitely hit that subscribe button, because I make videos like this all the time where I review movies, shows, whatever you want. I do games. Write down in the comments if you want me to make a certain movie review or show review. I will get on watching shows, movies, and all of that type of stuff. I really like doing this type of content, and if I can do content that you guys like, so you guys can hear my opinion about the shows and things that you guys like, I would love to do that too. Hit the like button, because if you like this video, then the like button will definitely help this video do better. And thank you everyone for watching this video. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out.